You know the generational wars, boomers versus millennials, Gen Z rewriting the rules. But there's a generation nobody fights for, because nobody ever really saw them. They weren't raised on participation trophies. They weren't raised on TikTok. They were raised in empty houses after school, key in hand, silence on the other side of the door. This is Generation X, and they might be the most psychologically resilient generation alive. Born between 65 and 80, Gen X was the first generation handed independence not as a privilege, but as a necessity. 8 years old, walking home, unlocking the door to silence. No texts, no tracking apps, no one asking, "Did you eat?" You made your own snack, did your homework, waited hours for a car to pull into the driveway. That empty house didn't just teach self-reliance, it wired their nervous systems for consequence. Cross a line, you knew immediately. No therapy speak, no negotiation, just cause and effect. Tight, immediate, unbreakable. Psychologists call it a high-consequence environment. Gen X just calls it Tuesday. And then came the second lesson. Adults lie. They watched marriages shatter, loyal employees get handed pink slips, institutions preach stability while practicing chaos. They were told, work hard, play by the rules, you'll be okay. Then the rules changed overnight. So Gen X didn't become cynical, they became prepared. Not hopeful, but realistic. Not fragile, but fortified. When the world feels unstable and no one admits it, you learn to brace quietly, to keep your emotions at arm's length, not because you don't feel deeply, but because feeling too openly felt dangerous. That's where the sarcasm comes from, the irony, the dry, self-deprecating wit. It's not detachment, it's armor. Gen X doesn't talk about hustle culture. They lived it before it had a name. Paper routes at 5 a.m., fast food registers without calculators, first jobs at 14, not for resumes, but rent. They learned competence before confidence, skills before slogans. And when they watched corporations discard loyal employees like expired milk, they made a silent pact with themselves. Never trust a system, only trust what you can do. That's why so many Gen Xers quietly maintain 3 income streams, not for clout, for cover fire. Here's the beautiful contradiction at the heart of Gen X. They will never ask for help, but the second you need help, they're already in their car. No fanfare, no Instagram story, just presence. Because that's how friendship worked when adults weren't around. You showed up or you didn't. No performance, no credit, just loyalty earned in silence. They don't respect titles, they respect competence. Fail upward, they'll disengage instantly. Know your craft, they'll follow you through fire. Gen X grew up between worlds, after the old rules broke, before the new ones formed. They are the bridge, and bridges don't get applause. They don't trend. They don't demand recognition. They just hold the weight of families, workplaces, entire economies, while everyone walks across them without ever looking down. They gave their own kids what they never had: attention, safety, presence. And sometimes, in quiet moments, they wonder if they took away the one thing that forged them, the gift of being unseen. Generation X isn't better. They're different, forged in silence, built for resilience, carrying the weight without asking to be seen. If this felt like someone finally named something you've carried your whole life, you're not alone. This channel is for the quiet architects, the ones who show up without announcing it. If that's you, hit subscribe, not for clout, but for connection. And if you want to go deeper, become a member. No performative gratitude here, just genuine appreciation for the people who hold things together when no one's watching. Because bridges deserve to be seen too.